disappointed. Big opportunity here at home against a good team, and we didn't do our part. They're a very, very good offensive team. I believe we have the ability to be a great defensive team. We didn't defend tonight. I think our offense is continuing to find its rhythm and improve. I thought there were some good moments there. Obviously, I don't like how we executed in the last 2.5 minutes of the game, 3 minutes of the game. I was very frustrated with that. But the defense didn't hold for us tonight. And generally, defensively, when you're geared up, your deflection numbers look right. The offensive rebounding is consistent with defensive effort because it's just movement to the ball and effort to the ball, loose balls. And we didn't win those battles tonight, and that was very frustrating. What do you guys have? I'm happy to go. Let me say some positive stuff. I thought like AP sitting right here, he's starting to grow as a young player. We've been talking about some little things that he can do to be more effective. I thought he was very effective in his minutes. Tyler Betsy had a couple good moments there. I think that's really important. He was effective. We need those young guys to keep coming, to give us some depth, and they're very gifted to make an impact. So that was positive. I'm proud of those two. And it was good to see the lid come off for Jizzle. It's been a stretch for him. So it's good to see him make some shots.
Only 3 offensive rebounds, and 2 of them were late. Is it just want to? Is it not getting to your spots, not doing what you're supposed to do on the offensive glass? Or
yeah, I think it kind of ties into what I talked about. When you listen, they shoot 51 in the first half, 38 in the second, 45 for the game, 12 for 31 from 3. We foul them a bunch like that. We're a really good defensive team and we're geared up. So that means that you're a step late to me. And offensive rebounding is the same. It's the same mentality. What makes you a good defensive team makes you a good offensive rebounding team. That we weren't up to par there tonight.
What makes them a good three-point shooting team? The ball movement?
Well, number one, they got a lot of guys that shoot it at a high level. I think we were talking about it with our team before the game. Like everybody they play on the perimeter has made at least 4 threes in a game already this year. So they have a lot of shooting out on the floor, and then they do a nice job. I think going into the game tonight, Elijah Hawkins leads the nation in assist-to-error ratio. So there's an example. Like he does a good job of getting into the paint and putting pressure on you and finding open guys. They share the ball on the paint touch extremely well. They share the ball on an offensive rebound extremely well, and they had 10 of them tonight. So we did not. I think we were number 1 in the nation going into the night defending the three-point line. And whatever the numbers that we look at as a staff, we're number 1 in the country defending the three-point line. And they come in here and hang 12 on us. That's very frustrating to me.
AP, what's the next steps just after this game and rebounding with your entire team? What are the conversations like going forward?
Well, first of all, we just want to stay together, do win or loss. And just repeat your question, please.
Just what are the conversations like? How do you move forward? You have a big road trip, Utah, BYU coming up.
Just focusing about the next game and how we can improve ourselves, and just all of us looking in the mirror and see what we can do better.
Well, it's obviously a frustrating loss, but offensively, you guys did show a lot of improvement tonight. How can you kind of build on that heading into a tough road trip at BYU?
We have to. We've worked really hard at it the last 2-3 weeks. We've worked really hard at that. We've really worked really hard at late game situations, which I thought we were somewhat better the last couple games there outside of breaking some press against Arizona State. So we've worked really hard at it. We can't regress there. And again, we've never tried to work at that and stop doing the things we're doing defensively and rebounding. But you got to, as I said on the radio, you got to put the game together. But we can't. As you guys said, frustration can't be the reason you don't recognize that the offense is improving and guys are starting to play with more confidence and we're playing with significantly better pace up the floor.
Speaking of the offense, Wes, you look down, you see 40 points in the paint. Was there something on film that really kind of opened things up for you guys to attack and kind of put the ball in the hole there?
It's just been an emphasis. for us. Again, we got to put we're not we're very well aware that through the stretch to start league play that we're not putting enough pressure on the rim, we're not getting fouled enough, we're not getting enough easy baskets. So like we've made a concerted effort to throw the ball inside more. We've made a concerted effort to work on driving the basketball more. We've made a concerted effort to try to be more fundamentally sound when we're around the paint, and we got to continue to grow there. I think it's been a tough stretch. I was glad to get back on track the last couple games, but we are improving on that end of the floor. And for some reason tonight we weren't as good defensively. Give Texas Tech some credit; they're an elite offensive team.
Aziz apparently is not 100%.
Yeah, I didn't know if he didn't participate in shoot around. He had a great practice yesterday. I thought he showed a lot of toughness tonight to try to gut it out.
Is there any update on Connor Hickman? Missed another game tonight.
I don't have an update, and I'm not holding anything. I just don't have one.
AP, your back to the basket game is something that's kind of been a boost for this team. Are you looking at that as an opportunity to, that's where you can provide something that maybe fill in the gaps a little bit for this offense?
Yeah, I would just say that me being aggressive down there can help our team. I'm just trying to do more things to help winning.
Wes, what do you think is the biggest cap on the three-point shot right now? Is it working to get good shots, or just good shots not ultimately falling in this late stretch?
For our team?
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of both. We don't execute. Call a timeout at the end of the half. We don't execute. We got to heave one at the end of the half. That wasn't a good shot. Where we got a great one the previous game in the exact same situation. I'm trying to think. After that, I can't think of a three that was a bad shot. That was a bad one. But you guys mentioned it. They covered the line pretty well tonight, and we got some really good ones, and they didn't fall. And then I think we did a good job of attacking closeouts and getting downhill at times. And sometimes we made a good decision in that situation. Sometimes we didn't. But that's why you see so much more pressure on the rim, and we got fouled a little bit more and that type of thing. But yeah, I think it's a little bit of both.
You've talked about rebounding. Dan's numbers haven't been as close to where they were last year. I know that's a great trait of his, grabbing those rebounds. Is there anything that you want to see differently from him in that area?
Yeah, he's a terrific player. He's a great player. He's one of the premier players at his position, I think, in this league. And we're asking a lot of him. The main thing we got to make sure is that we're asking him to be, we're putting him in a lot more action, making him more of a decision maker, trying to get him out in the open court more. Somebody said the other day, I was telling the guys that have the TV before the game, look at some of the matchups he's had. It's not that he always guards the other team's best player, but when you're guarding the 2 and the 3 position in this league, you're guarding elite players, and he's done an unbelievable job on those guys over the course. Probably needs to get more credit for some of the defensive job he's done up to this point. So we're asking a lot, but I think he's a great player that can handle it, and we can't lose sight of some of the things that he does really, really well, which is get to the board. Yeah, we need him to get to the board a lot more. That's one of his greatest gifts. But that's part of the evolution of him going from a good player to a great player, is putting all these things he can do together, and I got to do a better job helping him do that as a coach.
Kind of pairing with what you just said about Dan, is there a balance between wanting to get out more in transition and still being an elite defensive team, because you've got to kind of leak guys out, or you're trying to get guys in space to make plays downhill? How do you navigate that where you still put the focus on being an elite defensive rebounding team, but you also want to get out and transition a little bit more?
Yeah, I think that one's easy, Chad. You can't get out and transition until you get the ball. So you can't run that way until you get the ball. So there's no reason to leak out and that type of thing. And you can see you paying attention, you can see there's been a major concerted effort for us to get up the floor and try to get these athletes into space. And I think the kids are doing it great. The young guys, they're not kids, oh my gosh. These young guys are doing a great job of working at that and trying to change. We were always trying to do that, but I thought we weren't doing it with purpose there after Christmas, and I think they're doing it with way more purpose. But yeah, you can't sacrifice the things that make you who you are when you add something that's been successful. And you know, I didn't feel that way in the Arizona State game. I didn't feel that way in the Colorado game. So, you know, again, we got to get back to it. But we just finished a stretch of 3 games in 7 days. That's not an excuse. Everybody's got to do that in the STAM league. We got to regroup. They'll be off tomorrow. We got to regroup, and we got a big time road trip. And that's where our focus has to be.
Arrinten, what's been your biggest focus individually with your game over the past few months, kind of coming off of that non-conference stretch and getting your feet fully wet and being a little bit more comfortable now in this program?
I'd just say that coaches just made my role more clear, so it's easier for me to, you know, go onto the floor and know what I got to do to help my team win. So that's all I would say on that.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.